Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining for today's My Captain Power Talks on how to determine the right keywords for your campaign. My Captain Power Talks are powered by QFIS. QFIS provides an interactive cloud-based on-demand mentorship platform and which acts as a one-stop hassle-free solution to have conversations with industry leaders. QFIS offers a complete set of tools which includes knowledge-based workshop, hosting skill knowledge, and coaching to enhance the skills of individuals. It is more of a safe space outside your office or public space where you get insights from the leaders. Today, we have our guest Syed Farhan, who is very influential online business consultant with an expertise in digital marketing. Through his perseverance, he was able to reach out and help 60 plus business in 10 plus different countries across the globe. He is a helping hand to his clients to grow e-commerce, finance, real estate, beauty industry, mechanics, health, fitness industry, and whatnot. With his amazing skills in business analysis, technical SEO, on-page, off-page SEO, social media marketing, and many more, which paved the way for his tremendous success. This gives me immense pleasure to welcome you, sir. We are eagerly waiting to hear from you. Handing over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Devika. And hi, everyone. This is Farhan. A lot of bragging has been done by Devika, so you quite know that what I'm into. But I'll let you. I'll just repeat what I do. So I'm a digital marketing consultant, and I work with niche of every type, from fitness industry to real estate to finance, and each of these industries behave differently than each other. Okay, so we customize the strategies for each and every niche. I have experience over 7 to 8 years, and I have worked with the people of around 10 plus countries, from the Asian countries to European, Latin America, and Oceania, that is New Zealand and Australia. So I think and I think this will be a fruitful session for all of you.
This is so great to hear from you, sir. As we can move on to the session with the first question, what has your journey and experience been like working for more businesses in more than 10 countries, sir?
Yeah, so I have started this online marketing thing back in 2013 when I was working with a merchant navy company, and there I was a marketing head. So then I realized that this online platform, it is going to be a boom in coming years. So instead of focusing on ground to ground marketing, I started learning and implementing the online marketing strategy for that company. And since then, I it's a long journey, but I have enjoyed every bit of it. So I firstly started with the OLX thing, how OLX marketing is done, and then I switched to SEO, and from there, I have helped a lot of niche the websites, the businesses from low scale, that means the low scale customers, business owners, to mid range business owners, to a big shots of the industry. So it's been from 2013 to 2021. uh, That is my work ex in this industry.
Very nice to hear your beautiful journey, sir. Moving on, what do you think will be the pace of growth of digital marketing in the coming 5 years?
In one word, it would be immense, because the start of the pandemic, it has made people to realize the importance of digital marketing. Before the pandemic, the the businesses like the grocery shops, the food items of the local shop, they were not into the digital marketing thing. But now they have realized they can earn more, they can reach to more people via digital marketing platform. So in 5 years, it is going to be a huge thing for India, because one a customer base in Goa can sell the, let's say Goa is famous for fishes, right? So a person in Goa, he can sell the sea fish to a person in Raipur in Chhattisgarh. And that is only possible because of the digital marketing. So in 5 years, it's going to be a huge, and it's going to be a uh, great opportunity if somebody is looking for a career growth in this field. And
Very
it
informed.
and yeah, and it is not limited to uh, just any kind of business. It is applicable for all the business. Just observe how Baiju and other edutech companies have evolved during these 2 years. Now, so this is going to be a really great booster for the business.
It's very informative, sir. Moving on, how important is it for businesses to have an online presence and leverage online marketing?
Okay, so I'll go by this. The only business which do not need a digital marketing is no business. So if you own a business and you want to scale it, you have to have the online presence, right? No, it doesn't matter if you are a small shop or a big manufacturing company. You have to have the online presence so that you can create your brand awareness. Of course, not every people who will see you is going to be your customer, but to have brand awareness, you have to have an online presence and with very creative and very engagement style. You cannot just do it plain. For example, just observe how Zomato has the online presence. Zomato is a food delivery app or food delivery company, but you when check their online pages, it's a meme page. Okay, they create memes out of current situation, and it get hooked up in the user's mind. Okay, Zomato have done something right, something like that. So it keeps Zomato tickling in their body, like okay, Zomato is something out there. Same like Amul. If you see the Amul ads, they always take up the current situation and create it in a cartoon form to convey the message, right? So having online presence is very good, but one should have the online presence with some creative things. You cannot just post about your product all the time. You have to have take advantage of current situation. You have to have create fun out of the content in online presence so that it will keep you growing all the time.
So your realistic examples was good. We can relate to that very easily. Yes. So yeah, moving on. How is the point of view of businesses changing regarding digital marketing? Is there any resistance, sir?
uh, Resistance is only that people are not aware of it, because in the digital marketing is like a sea. It has so many subcategories in it, like search engine optimization, the social ads, the YouTube ads, and everything on. So a business owner, the resistance is only when he lacks the awareness, and the person he is consulting to is not able to convey the right message to it. Like not every message, like Facebook ads. Okay, not every business needs Facebook ads. If you are going to if you are going to have leads of B2B industry, LinkedIn is there. Okay, but if you are going to e-com industry, you can leverage on Facebook. Okay, if you are finance industry, so you have to have the SEO present, the Google presence. Okay, so these are the main obstacle to it is the lack of awareness, and the business owners, the people they are consulting to, the lack of knowledge in their consultant. So it has to be done two ways.
Yes, sir. Got it. Moving on. Is business analytics supplementary to digital marketing, or are they two separate fields?
Prior to digital marketing, BA and marketing were two different fields. Business analytics or BA, it is more concerned about the KPI, that is key performing index. Okay, like how much you have spent, how you have the profit you have received. Okay, these are the factors for it. But in marketing, In digital marketing, you have to consider all the aspect of it. So BA is a part of digital marketing right now. You cannot separate these two, because as a marketer, you have to have that analytical mindset and the power to analyze. Okay, so the strategies are working or not, how how much money is going there in the on marketing, how much you are getting back, how much revenue you are generating with your field for when digital marketing is applied to a business. So right now, BA is a part of digital marketing, but broadly speaking, these two are very different. And in current scenario, it is sort of one thing. So even if you don't have any BA degree or BA certification, you have to have that understanding how BA works. That is the I mean, if you have that understanding, you will excel in this field. And if you don't have that understanding, at some point you will become stagnated. So to avoid that, you have to have these two skills.
Yes, sir. Your explanation is very understandable, sir. Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on. How can someone master the skills required for SEO?
Okay, the one thing to have is patience, because SEO is
Okay.
a SEO is a long-term journey. You cannot. It is not a magic pill that one today you take a project and after 1 month you will start getting results. It is not going to happen that way. So you have to have the patience, and you have to have create strategies for each and every businesses. Okay, so for some businesses, let's say strategy A works for real estate industry, but that is not going to work for the e-commerce industry. So you have to analyze that, okay, this strategy is not working. And also, as I have worked with people of many countries, real estate in Australia is very different to real estate in India. So if you think that, okay, I have implemented these strategies on Australian website and it is going to work for Indian website, so chances are high that it will not. So you have to just outdate your strategies again and again. You have to improvise your thinking. You have to improvise your execution of the strategies. So SEO wise, patience is the first thing. Second is the analytical mindset. Third is the learning capacity, because SEO is like a CA. You have and the lawyer background. You have to keep studying every day. Google changes almost 3,600 or somewhat algorithm per year. They don't announce it. So just remember, just think about it. If something is changing so rapidly, and if you are not keeping updated yourself, so you will fall behind. And this is next to neck industry. If you will not keep updated yourself, somebody will come and overtake you. So be a leader in the industry. You have to have that learning power, no matter what your age is. If it is 16 or it is 70, you have to have that learning power. So the top skills to become a good in SEO, one is patience, then analytical mindset, then power or the capacity to outdate yourself, and the fourth one is learning new things. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So your tips are very important for our budding young minds. Moving on, sir. As an SEO professional, which type of keywords do you think are important?
Okay. So the short answer is every type, but I'll elaborate. Keywords are basically three or four types. First one is brand keywords. Okay, suppose I am owning a brand. Let's say I have XYZ company. Okay, so if I want to be on top of when somebody is searching XYZ, this is brand keyword. Second is medium tail keyword. Medium tail keywords are like, if I own a clothing industry, okay, and somebody is searching like clothing industry. Let's suppose I am from Mumbai, okay, and if somebody is searching clothing industry in Mumbai, then it is relevant to me. And then third one comes long tail keywords. Let's say I'm based in Powai. Okay. Now I am more specific. Uh, Earlier I was in Mumbai for medium tail. Now for long tail I'm in Powai. So if somebody is searching XYZ or my keyword like denim companies in Powai, so I have to be there. So one is brand keyword, then medium tail keyword, then long tail keyword. And one is there is one more category that is a very high volume and high competition keyword. Okay. So suppose I own a denim manufacturing company. So my brand name is XYZ Denim. So of course that is relevant to me. I have explained medium tail and long tail keyword. But my main business keyword is denim manufacturing company. It has very high potential of getting my business, but also it is more competitive than other keywords. So when you are planning for the keyword and when you are doing for the keywords for a certain website, I'll suggest you first prioritize what keyword you want to know, what you want to have. That is brand keyword, the high competition of keywords, then long tail keyword and medium tail keyword. Then distribute keywords in these categories and then strategize these keywords into your SEO team.
Yes, sir, got it. So one student has asked, can you type these keywords in the chat box? It would be helpful for them.
With the categories.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Or can you just tell me? I can type it for you.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. So 1 second. You're just typing it to panelist. Can you make
Oh,
an option of panelist and attendees so that attendees can view that?
okay.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So for keywords,
Done, sir.
yeah, for keywords, you
Okay.
have to have these 3 or 4 types. Doesn't matter which brand you are or which business you are into, which niche you are into, but you have to have these categories of keywords.
Yes, sir. Moving on. How can one be sure that the keywords they are using are appropriate, sir?
This is a really interesting question actually, because a lot of
Yeah.
people, lot of my employees, they still can't figure out whether this keyword is good, relevant to, or whether this keyword is appropriate or not. So the basic answer is understand the search intent. Okay, for example, if I am searching Delhi, yes, Delhi, no matter where I am. So I will see a Wikipedia page, news related to Delhi, and maybe some other page. But my search intent is just Delhi, just to know about Delhi. That is what I'm telling to Google. But if I am searching traveling to Delhi, so what Google will do, it will show me route from my location to Delhi. It will show the kilometers, I mean the road maps, the air maps, the trains if it is available. So now what I'm telling to Google that I want to travel to Delhi from where I am. Okay, so these are uh, the search result will be according to that. Now if I am searching hotels in Delhi, so what I'm telling Google, I want to see which hotels are there so I can get a room or two. Now if I am searching places to visit in Delhi, I am telling Google that I want to visit Delhi and I want to see the places there, the famous places there. So if you observe, the main keyword is Delhi, and all my queries are related to it. right? In first one, I am just looking for Delhi. What Delhi is. Okay, then I'm seeing the ways to travel Delhi. Then I'm searching the hotels in Delhi to stay there. And after that, I'm searching the places to visit in Delhi. So these are my search intent. Although it is around the Delhi, but my search intent are different. So to observe or to get the idea whether the keywords is relevant to you or not, you have to understand the user search intent. For example, you are a mortgage company, you are a bank, okay, and for example, so you give home loans, okay, and the main keyword is home loan for you, right? But it it is not 100% possible that somebody searching home loan is looking actually for the home loan. He may be looking for just what the home loan is, okay. So if your search intent, the better search intent for you would be 40 lakhs home loan in your city. So suppose somebody is from Chennai, okay, and they provide home loans to the Chennai people only. And if somebody is searching 40 lakh home loans in Chennai, so you should be there in the search result. So to understand whether the keyword is good for you or more relevant to you or not, understand the user search intent, because same keyword can have multiple meanings when some keywords, some words are added to it. So this is the basic idea of understanding whether any keyword is relevant to you or not.
It was very catchy, sir. Keywords research is an important part of any digital campaign. Can you share some tips for good keyword research?
Yeah, sure. Uh, Keyword is like soul of your website or your business. Okay, and searching it in the right way will help you. I mean, it will help you. But if you're doing it wrong, it it is like you own a fashion related website, but you are targeting a finance related keyword. It is not gonna work. Okay, so the first tool is google.com. It will work if you know how it works. So when you type your keyword there, it show auto suggestion. Like if you just type it blue denim jeans and leave a space there, so you will see a automated suggestion from the Google. So those are the keywords people have searched online. Use them. Okay. Second one is Google suggestion. So when you type a query, at the bottom of each page, Google suggests you 5 or 10 keywords. Okay. So that is the second thing. First, I am telling the free method of doing it, finding the right keywords. Then I'll tell you the paid method. These are the two things. Third free is Google Keyword Planner. So you will find Google Keyword Planner in Google Ad platform, and in Google Keyword Planner you can type your location, a city, country, whatever it is. You can type your website, or you can type a certain keyword there, and Google will show you a bunch of keywords. So Keyword Planner. Fourth is Google Trends. Google Trends shows you how much traffic it has, or how uh, how many times people are searching it. Okay, so for example, you are an umbrella company, right? Okay, you sell umbrella and raincoats. So it is but obvious that during the end of summer, the search result is high for you. I am speaking generally. If somebody is from Cherrapunji, if somebody is from Cherrapunji, I'm sorry, but generally speaking, the sale of raincoats and umbrella, it goes up at the end of the summer because monsoon is just about to come. But if I'm searching, if I look the Google trends of raincoat and umbrella in September, in India generally it is not a monsoon season. Okay, so that search trend will be low. So analyze your trend in Google Trends. Okay. Another platform is now Google Search Console. You have to integrate your website for Search Console. Then only you can have the keyword. But if you don't have a website yet, or you don't have any integration of Google Search Console and your website, it is not going to work. Another keyword tools are which I generally prefer is Ahref, Ahref, Ahref and SEMrush, or somebody calls it SEMrush, SEMRUSH. So these two tools give you immense depth knowledge of what keywords you should be targeting, the search volume of the keyword, the possibility of the competition, that which means how many other competitors are running for it or using this keyword. So you have to use these two tools also. And there are plenty of tools in the market when it comes to Google keyword search research thing. There is tool of Ubersuggest, SE ranking. I mean, hundreds of tools of keyword research tools. But I'll suggest you to use the free tool first. That is google.com, Google Auto Suggestion, Google Trends, Google Keyword Planner. And if you want to use paid one, then Ahref and SEMrush is there. Good thing about SEMrush is it gives you free trial. So you can use it free for certain amount of keywords. But for Ahref, it is paid. So you have to have the combination of keywords from all the tools. You cannot just rely on one tool. And one hack I will like to suggest to you. Suppose you don't have any tool, okay, and you are based in Bangalore, but your client is from Delhi, and he want to get rank in Delhi. But when you search from your end or your location, Google will show you the result based on your location. So do one thing, use VPN. In VPN, type the city name Delhi and then start searching it. So you will have a search specific result when you use VPN or another location guard thing. So if you have a client of US and you can be in Chennai or Kerala, so you can use the VPN to know what search results are there actually. And every nation, every country has its own domain of Google. So use that. For India, our default domain is google.co.in. For Australia, it is google.com.au. For Singapore, it is .sg. So use these variant when you are using the specific country things, the country search. Yep.
Yes, sir. Your thoughts are very valuable to all of us, sir. As you have covered what are the skills, would you like to stress on what are other important skills for a digital marketer, sir?
Yep. The first one is a person should be tech savvy. You cannot just hate technical things and just want to be a good at digital marketing, because it is a technical thing. Although the marketing term is included in digital marketing, but it is a technical thing, because you have to use a certain platform, certain tools. You may create a new tool for developing certain things. So one is tech savvy. Second is you should know how video editing works. I'm not saying it is that much important, but you should know it. The video editing part, the audio editing part, okay, and you should know the basic of website designing and development, because at the end of the day, you want your client to give more business. That is the reason they approach to you, and they will retain you once only only when you give them results. So you should know how website works. So you have to have a basic understanding of coding and website designing and website development. And one more thing to it, I know many people are from Hindi background or the regional background. So please develop the English skills. because you will work with the client across globe. And the only language which binds us together, which act as a bridge, is English. No matter how bad it is, if the Russian speaks very bad English, and the European English is very bad. Apart from UK, okay, so you have to have an command on English language. So these are key points other than which I mentioned earlier.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Moving on to the final question, and later we'll take up the follow-up questions from the participants. Sir. Do you recommend pursuing a course in digital marketing for beginners?
See, having a mentor is very necessary. Okay, because the mentor have walked the path that you are about to walk. So have a mentor. I have a mentor. Okay, because if I'm in industry for the 7 years, so there are people who are working in this industry for 20 years. And earlier, back in days, just adding a keyword would rank a website. But now that is not the case. So I'll suggest you to have a mentor. It can be of any form. And second part to it, cross check whether a mentor is genuine or not. So as far as the uh, courses are to be concerned, I prefer calling it mentorship. So if somebody can have a good mentor, so it's a good thing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You have explained, and it's very beautiful and very understanding, sir, your explanation and the thoughts and views that you shared with us. And I hope, students have asked some questions. Let's take some follow-up questions,
Yeah,
sir.
sure.
First question: how should I present my importance as a writer to a digital marketing agency so that they hire me? Wow, that's an interesting question. Yes, sir.
So this person, he or she, is more
Mhm.
inclined towards getting a job
True.
than uh, giving us and or then showing the what talent is. Okay, so if you are a writer, you start blogging because writer blogs, writer writes. Okay, right. So start blogging, and it doesn't have to be a paid domain. You can start with the free domains of WordPress and bloggers, so that when you approach to somebody, you can show what you have done in the past. Okay, and start taking projects from your friends and the relatives. Everybody who is here, I guess they know someone who has website or who knows the content, who needs the content part, who needs the content writer, right? Be it website or be it any blog. So approach them, and at first you have to do it for free because you want something in return. Don't expect to get paid like 1 rupee per word at the start of your journey. Just be a little bit of patient. Okay, start writing, and writing is not a simple thing. I mean, it varies from business to business again. That is the beauty of this industry actually. Each business varies from another business, and so is the content. So some website needs professional writing, for example the finance one, and some industry needs a kind of attractive writing like the recipes one, the food industry. You cannot bore them with a professional writing thing. You have to add spice in the writing also. So if you are starting your journey, I'll suggest you to start writing or to start a blog. You can do it for free on WordPress and Blogger. There are others too, and start approaching your friends and family or the relatives for giving them free content, and ask reviews in return. Don't ask money right now. Ask reviews. When you have enough reviews, right? So you can show it to somebody or in an interview. So you can leverage that. And after getting selected in interview, you can start charging from your friends and family also.
This was very valuable suggestion, sir. Okay, Kavya Achara has asked, which
Mhm.
platform should I market on about my coaching institute?
Okay. One is Google My Business, that is local SEO. Second one is if you are just in your area, do it Instagram and Facebook.
Thank
Because
you,
in
sir.
Facebook and Instagram, you can pin your location there. So for coaching institute of a particular area, local SEO, Facebook and Instagram. But don't bore with the subjects and all. When you are coming to social media, please learn from Zomato. I'm a huge fan of Zomato page because their page is full with the memes. And I have shared this strategy to one of my friends who is a medical shop owner. And earlier he used to publish just about medicines and nothing else. So I suggested him, why don't you start posting memes? And within a month, the followers has grown immensely there. So for coaching institute, local SEO, Insta and Facebook.
That was an interesting answer, sir. I hope your question is answered, Kavya. So moving on, what is the scope to take digital marketing as a career after engineering?
Even I'm an engineer,
Wow.
and the joke is that I have done MTech also in thermal power engineering, and I have worked in Coal India, but I left that job because of this marketing field. So it is, I mean, I'll not say it is not a good option, but at the end of the day, it comes to you how you evolve as a marketer or how you evolve as a professional. I have seen people from engineering background failing at every field, and I have seen people from engineering background doing excellently in every field. One of my friends, they are in the IT industry, same as mine, but he is into coding. One of my friend has done MBA and he is in PTM. So it depends on you. If you can evolve as a marketer or as a professional, every field is good for you. And if you cannot evolve as a professional, no matter which field you choose, you will become stagnated at some part of that career growth. So for digital marketing for engineers, it is good, but you have to be good actually. Every field is good.
Thank you, sir. I hope your question is answered. Uh, yeah, moving on. In which field digital marketing is used, like what kind of jobs we get? Please tell some name of the company where digital marketing is used as a job.
Uh, None of the company paid me actually to advertise themselves, but one company I am very fond of is 3Q Digital. It is not Indian, but it is among the top three companies of the world. Okay, and so I'll come to the question again. So the field in digital marketing, see, digital marketing is like a ocean, right? And the subcategories of it, one is SEO, that is search engine optimization. One is SMM, social media marketing. One is SEM, that is search engine marketing. One is affiliate marketing. A content marketing is there. Video marketing is there. Podcast marketing is there. So you have to choose one. You can choose all of them. I started my journey as a SEO person. Okay, and I moved to then search engine ad and social media ad. So you have to start your journey somewhere, and you cannot start with all of them at once. Choose one, and if you ask me, choose from SEO, search engine ads, or social media ads. Okay, and as far as the company is to be concerned, 3Q is there, and apart from that, just check where you are. I mean, suppose you are in Bangalore, there are so many companies of digital marketing there. So you can just Google it, see their reviews, check their reviews on Glassdoor, and if it is good, approach them. Because if you think, see, it is not a coding company, coding industry that you started coding and you want to be in Infosys and TCS, or your dream job is to be at Microsoft. It is not like that. This industry is a sister of coding industry, but it works very differently. So you may end up in working for Google. Don't I? Who knows? But start somewhere where you are.
Thank you so for your valuable input. How do we know what our target audience is looking for it when it comes to B2B?
Yeah. See, when it comes to B2B and the target audience, you have to have the understanding of your business model. Okay. For example, let's say B2B of Udan. It is a Bangalore-based company, Udan.com. When it started, nobody knew what Udan is actually, but they kept their focus on retailers. Okay. Only just the ad which we see now. Earlier, there were no advertisement actually. So, to understanding your target audience, understand your business. So, suppose if you are like Udan, your target audience is what? The retailers of India. Okay, so you will market you will do marketing of your website as per your target audience. For example, you are a manufacturer of clothing industry. You are in a clothing industry and you are a manufacturer, and you want to supply your clothing to the wholesale, or you want to have the dealers of your industry. So your target audience will be the dealers. And of course, you don't know whether a person landing on your website is a dealer or not. So you have to design your content and website in such a way that when somebody comes on your website, they have to have that option of uh, signing up as a dealer. So now you know that somebody is 100 people comes on your website, 5 of them have registered for the dealership. Okay, so now you are identifying your B2B audience, and it goes with every industry, whether it is B2B or B2C. So first you have to target everyone, and then you have to filter out. It is called funneling of the audience. You start with a broad category, and slowly you narrow it down to your main customer, main potential customers. And one thing more, when you are doing B2B, don't forget to use LinkedIn. It is a Facebook of professionalism. So use LinkedIn when it comes B2B. And for SEO, your website has to be designed in such a way that you create a funnel, and the user ends up being your customer. That is in B2B market.
So your strategies are very helpful. Okay, one more student has
Mhm.
asked one important question. Shivkumar Nayak. First
Mhm.
of all, he's thanked you for being with us today. And his question is, while doing keyword research, apart from keyword difficulty and keyword volume, is it always good to consider the trend of that keyword? Because sometimes the keyword might have good volume, but it might be decreasing its volume day by day. What is your opinion on this?
Okay. I guess this person is into the field already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So see what I do. I'll tell you my strategy and how I do it. The most important thing is for me is search volume, right? But search volume for a good keyword varies from location to location. For example, if I am in particular city, okay, that has a population of 50 lakhs. So out of 50 lakhs, if a search volume is 1,000, it is a very good keyword for me. But if I am targeting that keyword in nationwide, 1,000 is on the lower side. And if some keyword, if you think that some keyword is now decreasing the total, I don't say that keyword is not valuable, but as per going to the question, if you think it is not valuable, So modify this keyword as a long tail keyword and medium tail keyword so that it can be beneficial for you. And keyword difficulty, see, it is a good parameter, but I don't go by it because it is generated by a tool. Okay. The main factor is whether that keyword is relevant to me or not. A keyword may have 10 search volume total, just 10, but it can give me a business of, let's say, five business result every month. So it is good, right? Out of 10 search volume, I am getting business. So at the end of the day, our job is to provide business to the client or to ourselves if we are doing it for ourselves. So keyword difficulty, you can break it. You cannot break search volume because search volume comes from the users and keyword difficulty comes from the competitor. And you are in this field to outrank the competitor. So don't keyword difficulty is a good thing, but I don't go by it. Search volume and modifying the keyword to keep it relevant to your business is the main term here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this interesting question, Shiv Kumar, and thank you for this interesting answer, sir. How to understand the algorithms every year along with the changes?
Uh, Keep reading.
Very
Okay.
worthful answer.
Okay. See, you cannot. Uh, if you want to know whether an algorithm has may affect on your website or not, don't do anything spammy on your website. Never. Because if you are spamming, chances are you will get hit. If not today, then tomorrow. And what I consider a spam is, suppose you are a finance related website and you create backlinks on another platform. You cannot have a backlink from food industry to finance industry. See, because food industry and finance industry, they are poles apart in nature. So you cannot have a spam on your website. This is one example of spamming. Second example of spamming is it is called keyword stuffing. That putting your keyword everywhere. Suppose your keyword is, let's say, raincoat, and you are creating a content and you go by like the childish article, like we create raincoat, we create raincoat for adults, we create raincoat for children, we create raincoat for everyone. This is very childish thing. So don't do keyword stuffing anywhere in content, in meta tags, or anywhere. So to be safe from the algorithm, don't do anything spammy. I am working this industry from 2013, and I have seen many websites. I mean, not mine, but I have seen many websites getting hit by the algorithm. But I have never done anything spammy on the website. I'm still safe. So SEO is of three types actually: white hat SEO, black hat SEO, and gray hat SEO. Don't never go with the black hat SEO. Go with white hat and gray hat. And what are these two? It is a total different topic.
Thank you, sir, for this important strategy. Yeah, we can take two more follow-up questions that is
Okay.
there. I'm starting a podcast, so my question to sir is, how do I market my podcast online?
Yeah. See, when you are starting podcast, I mean, if it is today's scenario, it is and the chances are it will get marketed automatically because podcasting is not having a huge competition in India right now. It is a new thing, and many of us still don't know what podcasting is. So keep your content regular. And there are many platforms like one is Anchor FM, if I'm not wrong. If you post it there, Anchor, what it does, it posts on various podcasting platform automatically. You don't have to do it manually. So if you want to grow your podcast channel, first one is keep publishing your content regularly. Second one is do share the podcast on your other social media platform like Insta. Okay, on Facebook you can do it. On Twitter, you can do it. Third one is you can outreach bloggers or YouTubers or podcaster to mention your brand. Now the thing is, if so you cannot approach directly to Tanmay Bhatt for posting for promoting your podcast because he is a huge brand now. But instead of going to a big influencer, you can start with a micro influencer in your area so that you can mention them in your website, in your podcast, and they can mention you in their whatever they are doing in blogs or on vlogs. So for marketing of podcasting, first one is publish regular content. Second one is the influencer marketing. Third one is you can try Quora. Quora and Reddit will be good for you. But do regular content. That is the soul of podcasting.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So Deepak has asked one more important question, and it will be very helpful if you answer. He has asked, I lost my domain due to a payment issue, and now I have purchased the domain by reducing one alphabet less. I have imported my backups to the new domain, and how do I need to work on new website like abcd.com or abcd.com? No, previous domain was abcde.com. New domain example is abcd.com.
Okay. See, if you have the backup of your old website, you can migrate it or you can just implement all the content on the new website. And as you have lost the domain, okay, so it is now free, right? So anybody can use it. Now you don't have that authority to have anything from that domain, right? So if you are going with ABCD instead of ABCDE, which you cannot buy now, and the reason could be because it is expensive now or anything else, or it is already taken by somebody else. But if you have lost the domain, so you can, and you have the backup, so you can create a new content on your new website. But I'll suggest you to have a call with the support system from where you have bought the domain, because sometimes they put it on hold so that you can renew your subscription. So have a chat or have a call with the support team, and if still you cannot have that domain, go with ABCD or any other domain name, but put it I mean, let the content be there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being so informative and definitely help Deepak. Thank you. One last question I would like to take, sir, and we'll be wrapping the session.
Okay.
Yeah, one student has asked, as I worked in finance related startup working as a digital marketer, what will be the first step to start digital marketing like SEO, SMM?
Okay, so I'll start with SEO. I love finance industry, SE, because it has so many things to do. The first thing is check your competitor's website, because if you are on rank 2, there is someone at rank 1. Check your website, check their website, and analyze the content gap between your website and their website, and write more content on your website and SEO optimize it. SEO optimizing, sorry, by SEO optimizing, I mean start uh, have a better meta title, meta description, proper internal links and image. So for finance industry, content plays major part. Okay, so have a analysis of content gap. Second one is uh, for social media ads, for social media marketing, you can promote blogs there, because when it comes to finance industry, FB is very strict. Okay, you may get your account disabled. So focus on providing value to your customer. So promote your blogs there. Do event.
Sir, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Do event on Facebook. Okay, like create an event of for certain knowledge and certain information. So for finance industry, these two will play a major part. One is the content, and second is providing value to your customer via social media marketing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You have covered every follow-up questions that was asked, and very indeed, sir. Thank you for joining us today with your valuable and inspiring thoughts and views, which definitely paved the way for budding young minds for their career development. The tips you gave was very catchy and tricky, sir. It was very
Thank you.
nice having you here and being patient enough to answer all the questions and sharing your valuable time with us. And wishing you a very happy Ramadan with wishing you a prosperous year ahead, sir.
Thank you, Devika, and I wish everybody to be safe and sound in this tough situation and keep growing no matter what you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, all dear participants, for being engaging in all the discussions that we did today. Thank you, sir, for being very active enough in answering all the questions that were asked. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Take care. Bye.